Anniversary at Elysium. As a special treat for their anniversary, Daniel and Sarah had chosen to dine at the prestigious Elysium, an opulent and expensive restaurant known for its exquisite cuisine and grandeur. The elegant ambience and candlelit tables set the perfect mood for their romantic evening. As they savored each course, Daniel excused himself to visit the restroom, leaving Sarah alone at the table. Little did he know that his brief absence would lead to a night they would never forget. As he made his way down the dimly lit corridor toward the restroom, he felt a sudden drop in temperature, and an eerie sensation crept over him. The walls seemed to close in, and strange whispers echoed through the hallway. He hurried into the restroom, hoping to shake off the unsettling feeling. Inside, the atmosphere grew even more eerie. The mirrors were smudged with ghostly handprints, and the faucets turned on and off by themselves. An unsettling presence seemed to linger in the air. Just as Daniel was about to wash his hands, he heard a voice behind him, a soft, mournful whisper that sent shivers down his spine. When he turned, he saw a figure, hazy and translucent, standing before him. It was a ghostly woman, her eyes filled with sorrow. "Help me," she whispered, her voice quivering. Startled and terrified, Daniel stumbled backward, nearly tripping over his own feet. He hurried out of the restroom, his heart pounding in his chest. Returning to the table, he played it cool, not wanting to alarm Sarah. But the experience had shaken him to the core, and he couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong with the restaurant. As they continued their meal, strange occurrences began to unfold around them. Silverware levitated off the tables, candles flickered unnaturally, and chilling drafts swept through the dining area. Other diners seemed oblivious to the eerie happenings, or perhaps they were simply too engrossed in their meals to notice. Then, during a lull in their conversation, they locked eyes with their waiter. For a brief moment, his eyes turned an unnatural shade of pale blue, a ghostly hue that sent a chill down Daniel's spine. But just as quickly, the waiter's eyes returned to their normal appearance. Sarah and Daniel exchanged a bewildered glance, but they chose not to mention it, fearing that they might be overreacting. However, as the night wore on, the unsettling events in the restaurant escalated. The wine glasses on their table shattered into pieces, the chandeliers swayed ominously overhead, and ghostly apparitions drifted through the dining room. It became clear that the restaurant itself was haunted, and the staff, including the waiter with the ghostly eyes, were involved in the supernatural occurrences. In a sudden twist, Sarah recalled a local legend about Elysium, which was said to have been built on the site of an old cemetery. The restless spirits of the deceased were believed to haunt the restaurant, and the staff had made a pact with the ghosts to ensure their success. The waiter's ghostly eyes were a sign of his involvement in the sinister agreement. Desperate to escape the terrifying ordeal, Sarah and Daniel paid their bill and headed for the exit. But as they reached the restaurant's grand entrance, a ghostly figure blocked their way. It was the same ghostly woman Daniel had encountered in the restroom, her eyes still filled with sorrow. She spoke, her voice echoing through the grand dining hall. "You must stay. Join us." With a sense of dread, they realized they were trapped in the restaurant, bound by the same supernatural pact as the staff. The restaurant had claimed them as its own, and they were now part of its eerie and haunted existence. As they gazed around the grand dining hall, the other diners and staff revealed their ghostly forms, and the restaurant transformed into a haunting, otherworldly realm. Sarah and Daniel had unwittingly become part of the restaurant's ghostly crew, forever condemned to serve the sinister spirits that lurked within its opulent walls. The couple's romantic anniversary had taken a nightmarish turn, and they were now trapped in a ghostly world, doomed to haunt the elegant restaurant for all eternity. A fate they could never have imagined when they first stepped through its grand entrance. Thrill Seeker's Haven. Amelia and David, deeply in love, chose an unusual location for their anniversary date, an abandoned adventure park known as Thrill Seeker's Haven. The park had been closed for decades, plagued by a dark history and unsettling rumors that had kept most people away. As they ventured into the park on a moonlit night, they couldn't help but feel a sense of eerie excitement. The rusted rides and dilapidated structures cast long shadows, creating a haunting backdrop for their adventure. Their first stop was the Ferris wheel, a towering relic that creaked and groaned as it turned. At the highest point, Amelia's smile faded, and her gaze fixated on something beyond. There, among the ruins, stood a solitary figure, a life-size puppet with hollow eyes and tattered clothes, swaying gently in the wind. David noticed her unease. "What's wrong?" he asked, following her gaze. But when he looked, the eerie puppet had vanished into the night. "It's probably just a prop left behind," he reassured her, though he couldn't completely shake his own unease. They continued to explore the park, visiting one decaying attraction after another. The roller coaster, once a thrilling ride, now seemed like a skeletal structure ready to collapse. As they climbed into the rickety carts, the wind howled through the broken tracks, creating a chilling backdrop to their descent. Midway through the ride, the coaster suddenly halted, leaving them suspended high above the ground. Panic washed over them as they realized they were trapped. David tried to remain calm, but the situation was dire. Then, as if guided by an unseen hand, the coaster slowly started moving again, bringing them safely back to the station. Amelia and David exchanged bewildered glances, but they couldn't explain the miraculous turn of events. Determined to enjoy their anniversary, they decided to have a picnic in the park's central square. As they spread out their blanket under the pale moonlight, sharing a candlelit meal, they felt an eerie chill in the air. Unsettling whispers drifted on the wind, forming strange, incomprehensible words that sent shivers down their spines. Amelia's hand trembled as she attempted to relight the extinguished candles, but they refused to stay lit. "Did you hear that?" she whispered, her voice quivering. David strained to listen, his heart racing. The whispers grew louder, forming into chilling voices, all repeating a single word: "Leave!" Terrified, they abandoned their picnic and rushed to leave the park. But their path was blocked by the same eerie puppet they had seen earlier. It had come to life, its wooden limbs contorting unnaturally as it advanced toward them. With no other option, they turned and fled deeper into the park, pursued by the malevolent puppet and a chorus of sinister whispers that seemed to emanate from the very shadows around them. They stumbled upon an old, decaying carousel, and in a desperate bid to escape, they jumped onto the carousel's horses. The sinister puppet followed, its eyes gleaming with malice. But as it reached out to them, a deafening roar erupted, and the carousel sprang to life, spinning faster and faster. Amelia and David clung to the horses, their world a dizzying whirlwind of color and sound. The puppet was flung off into the darkness as the carousel reached an impossible speed, threatening to tear itself apart. Then, as suddenly as it had begun, the spinning stopped, and they found themselves outside the park's entrance, gasping for breath and drenched in sweat. They never spoke of that night again, but the memory of the eerie puppet and the malevolent whispers would haunt their dreams. Thrill Seeker's Haven had revealed its horrifying secrets, and they knew that some mysteries were better left undisturbed, buried in the decaying ruins of an abandoned adventure park. The Haunting Voyage. Amelia and Jack, deeply in love, decided to celebrate their anniversary with a one-day cruise, eager to soak up the sun and revel in each other's company as the ship set sail. Their laughter and joy were infectious, drawing the attention of fellow passengers who joined in on their celebration, snapping pictures and sharing the moment. But as the sun beat down on them, a sudden, unnatural chill gripped the air. It was as if the warmth and happiness had been sucked away, replaced by an overwhelming coldness. Panic set in when they realized they were the only people left standing on the deck. The ship itself appeared aged and worn, its once gleaming facade replaced by time-worn wood and tattered sails. Amelia clung to Jack, her voice quivering. "What's happening, Jack?" Jack could only shake his head in confusion. The ship had morphed into a haunting relic from a bygone era, and they were the sole living souls aboard. As they tried to make sense of their surreal surroundings, skeletal figures clad in tattered pirate attire emerged from the fog. Hollow eye sockets stared at them with eerie hunger, and skeletal hands clutched rusted cutlasses. The ghosts of long-dead pirates were on a relentless quest, and they passed Amelia and Jack as if they were mere apparitions. The couple soon realized they were ensnared in this spectral mission, unable to escape or even interact with the ghostly pirates. Hours turned into what felt like an eternity as they followed the skeletal pirates in a chilling procession. The ghosts seemed to dig at random spots, their spectral eyes filled with longing for something just out of reach. Amelia and Jack's dread deepened, and their hope dwindled with each passing moment. They were trapped in a nightmarish scenario, surrounded by otherworldly pirates seeking an elusive treasure. As the eerie journey continued, the fog suddenly lifted. The ship transformed back into its modern, luxurious self, and the passengers returned to their leisurely activities, oblivious to the terrifying ordeal Amelia and Jack had just experienced. Amelia and Jack disembarked at the end of the day, their minds filled with confusion and dread. They couldn't fathom how they had transitioned from a nightmare of ghostly pirates to the serene cruise they had originally boarded. No one else seemed to have witnessed the spectral pirates and their quest for treasure. It was as if the haunting ordeal had never happened, leaving Amelia and Jack with lingering unease about the thin boundary between reality and the supernatural. Their anniversary celebration had taken a chilling turn, and the mystery of that day would forever haunt their memories, casting a shadow over their love story.